Hey, what's going on, Fighters Corner family? This is Jonah Williams, the Fighters Corner podcast. So this week, John Grosky and Mike Davis got to sit down with Stitch. It was a phenomenal conversation. Stitch is a super interesting guy. He's so good at what he does. He got famous doing something that most people don't even know a thing. He's probably history's only famous cut man, and for a very good reason. So anyway, please check that podcast out. During that podcast, though, they touched on the Lobov Malignaggi fight. Um, Although I wasn't able to get on that podcast, I definitely didn't want to miss my opportunity to talk about that fight a little bit and make an official prediction before the fight happens. Um, because I really feel like I'm going to be right, and I'd rather be right before the fight than be after the fight telling everybody I saw it happen in that way. So, my official prediction, I predict that Lobov is going to win somewhere in the middle of the second round. I might regret being so specific because it could go somewhere else, but I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle of the second round. Um, why do I think the world class, world champion boxer is going to lose in this boxing match? I'll tell you. Because I feel like I feel like there's a number of inherent disadvantages that boxers have coming over to bare knuckle, particularly where it is to do with defense. The big defensive disadvantage is in bare knuckle, you have to address every punch individually. You can't just throw your hand up and do his own defense. In boxing, if somebody's throwing light, quick punches and you don't have time to move your feet, you just throw your hand up. Gives you his own defense. It's nice. It's padded. His hand's padded. Your hand's padded. You can do that all fight without a problem. In bare knuckle, you cannot defend punches that way. If you throw your hand up to defend a punch, a savvy fighter, a mean fighter, an aggressive fighter like Lobov, he's going to hit that hand. He's going to hit your wrist. He's going to let that punch go. It's a win-win. Either he gets around your hand because now your hand doesn't have the glove on it, so it's easier to punch around, or he's gonna hit you in the back of the hand or in the wrist, and he's gonna take away your weapon for later on. So it's kind of a win-win. And with a guy like Lobov, he's savvy enough to know that, so he's savvy enough to take advantage. Um, the clinch work, boxers don't be fooled. Boxers act like they don't punch in the clinch. Like, yeah, the ref breaks it up. Boxers get a lot of their work in during the clinch. Um, and again, a world champ's going to know something about clinch work, but I don't think he's ever been worked over like Lobov has the opportunity to, or has the potential of working him over in the clinch. Of all the bare knuckle fights I've watched pretty much at this point. I wasn't on the sport when it first popped up, but at this point, I've pretty much gone back and watched the whole catalog of 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 available bare knuckle fights to watch. Um, and I don't think I've seen anybody use that clench quite as well as Lobov used it against Knight. He's really good in there. He's really good at tying up that tying up with one hand, striking with the other, and still getting some power. Um, I suspect you're going to see Lobov do something that looks like he's coming in for a double leg takedown, but instead of singing the takedown, he's going to stand up, basically already in a clench position inside of Paulie's hands. When he shoots in, he's going to leave the top of his head, his forehead exposed. He's going to protect his face. If Paulie wants to punch the top of his head, let him. It's going to damage the hand more than the head. It's very important to remember that when the UFC brought in gloves, they didn't bring in gloves because they were protecting heads. They brought in gloves because they were protecting hands. Because guys kept breaking their hands. Um, I think that's going to be such a huge factor in this fight. Um, Paulie's not used to squeezing his fist when he punches. He's not used to keeping that fist tight. He's not used to backing the power off of his shots. As you can't punch full power with a bare hand. You'll break your hand. He's probably not used to looking specifically for the soft parts of the face to punch into. You can't punch someone in the head. You can't punch someone. Even the chin is real suspect. If you put so much power into it, you can damage yourself more than them. Um, I think all these things are going to add up to be a perfect storm for Lobov. Um, I think he's going to take it, and I think that's going to be great for the sport because it's going to show how different bare knuckle is from just boxing. Um, but Paulie, being the world champ that he is, maybe he's gonna make me eat some crow. Maybe he's gonna prove me wrong, but I highly doubt it. I really feel like Lobov is gonna carry this thing, and I feel like he's gonna do it somewhere in the middle of the second round. Being that specific will probably come back to bite me, but that's how I feel. Either way, it's going to be a great fight. I'm so glad to see this sport emerging. It's the oldest combat sport in America that is now also the newest combat sport in America. So please check it out. Support these guys. Whoever you like, support them. Whoever you don't like, support them too, because these guys deserve a lot of credit and a lot of respect. Like, share, subscribe. As always, check out that interview with Stitch. It's a phenomenal interview with a phenomenal guy. Sorry I missed out on being on mic with that one, but too many voices kind of get in the way. So maybe next time I'll get in on there. But have a great one. See you guys later.